So this topic came to me 3 times in a couple day time frame. It started with this comment about sheltered life, and then shortly after that it was a statistic with a comment attached to it on Facebook, and then finally this book that I'm reading. It's chapter 1. So I'll get into all these right now. Hello everyone, my name is Jennifer Moleski. This is my YouTube channel. Today we're going to talk about shelter. Let's just do it now. So let's start with this book. This book is basically, if things go to shit, you need a secure shelter, and quick. If things get hard as in how our ancestors had it, like a time when there was no guaranteed shelter and there was no guaranteed water on demand and no guaranteed water on demand in your shelter. A time when animals were acquired for utilitarian purposes, not as a subconscious replacement for family and community and the nurturing and bond that brings. When violence between tribes was rampant and safety was uncertain. When man or nature brought instability at best or a violent storm at worst, the first thing to establish was your shelter. When shelter is thought of in this context, it's not a bad word, right? It's rather obvious that you need shelter. It's important, vital for your health.
For your health.
When people protect themselves and the people that we love and the animals we need, it's best to do so within a confined space. We protect ourselves within the vessel of our body. Ideally, right? We protect those we love in our home. We protect the nature and the animals within our property line, and we care about the community that we are part of. So we're talking about shelter. As a species, we've been on a trajectory of discovery. We've been leaving our caves and our houses, our shelters, since forever to discover what is beyond. So in my opinion, there is only one reason people leave their shelter, and it can always be chalked up to discovery. And again, in my opinion, there are 2 acceptable reasons why people go about discovering. It is curiosity and dismay, addition and neutrality, the desire for more, the fear of gaining less, boredom, relief, escape. I would say that it's discovery for positive or discovery for negative. And I'm using positive and negative as in rights. If you're confused, I have a video that I talk about it. And then there's another video that a different person did, and it's really, really good. Okay. So in the positive, as in positive rights, we are looking to be intrigued, immersed, startled, awoken, altered, usually to quell a voice within us that demands that we fill a void that we have. We're looking for meaning. We're looking for addition. We're responding to the demand from our soul that wants to accumulate, to amass, to become more. Maybe we have excess time or resources or desire or capability to take on the task. And I see this excursion of discovery being expressed in a few ways. I see drugs, education, travel, promiscuity, entrepreneurship, and state religion, which is politics. When a normal, ethical person goes about this endeavor, they treat it as it truly is, a personal experience. Done for personal reasons. They do so selfishly, yet they hold the moral statute of the NAP, the non-aggression principle, even if they don't call it that. They do not forcibly burden another. They're internal. They gather for themselves and they rely on themselves. They do not harm to get what they want to accomplish. They don't harm to get what they want to accomplish, and they don't infringe on anyone, ideally. That's the ideal practice, the moral way. We could see this as the pursuit. I'm calling this the pursuit of positive rights. So no one has an inalienable right to start a company and become wealthy, or lose it all and learn from it, or to have a great DMT experience, or have a positive, negative, or interesting experience or encounter with a person in another land, or be able to bed a hottie, or be taught by another human, or to demand healthcare from another, or a cake. Those are simply perks. Perks are considered positive. They're additions. Many people pursue perks. Ain't nothing wrong with that. The other avenue of discovery comes from necessity. So not necessity to amass more, but to amass enough to live a life of personal choice. A choice of how and when to earn, what and when to learn, who and how to worship, or if you worship at all, how to express oneself, and a right to defend yourself and your property. So people who live with the threat of their negative rights, their inalienable rights being disrespected, say under a murderous regime or an oppressive government or a breached agreement, tend to flee to discover a place where people don't want to murder them or steal from them or persecute them for their beliefs, if their beliefs are not harming anyone else. A place where people aren't telling you what to learn. Put simply, they are looking for a place where negative rights are recognized and respected. Maybe they want an education or land to farm or a chance of building a life abundant in a particular resource, money, maybe corn, possibly silence, okay, but they don't demand or expect it at the cost of another. They take responsibility for making it happen for the task because they understand and respect negative rights. And an individual who lives in a culture where everyone also recognizes and respects negative rights will always have a shot at earning what they want. So this type of explorer or discoverer is simply seeking a place that allows for genuine authenticity and the practice of sustainability at the price of infringing on no one. So those are two logical reasons for discovery and the map of the moral way to go about it. Positive and negative seeking, and seeking without bringing down another. But there is a third reason people have historically and are currently discovering. But this way, it's the way it's practiced lacks morals. So the third reason for discovery is to vent a pent-up derangement, a pent-up undefinable rage or discontent, a boredom, an idea of superiority, a notion of extreme entitlement, a confusion of how life works, an eruption of indignation, a notion that they are not special, that they don't stand out, that no one is applauding their existence, and they feel that that is wrong and inexcusable and even punishable. It is derangement when one feels that life in general is not fair, and instead of learning the rules, getting good or okay at the rules, and asserting oneself into play with focus and goodwill, they instead complain about or attempt to change the rules. They go about discovering how severely and to what degree they can bend another group, person, rule, or culture. The person who pursues quenching this mania has no healthy avenue of expression. Destruction is the only way to feed the lust. So as history has shown, this manic expression is practiced to gain control, and to that end, pleasure is derived. Complain, blame, take, change again. Change is never enough, so they change some more, conquer, control, destroy, own, until they and or their ideology has slain so many that they have a mountain of bodies to climb, and that puts them on top, finally. And maybe they haven't earned applause, but they are finally noticed, and that'll work. What will they do on top? Try to climb higher. Duh. Of course they will try to climb higher. So 2 of these 3 ways is a fine reason for discovery. So discover more or discover enough on an individual basis or working for a family unit, but only 1 is morally worthy of fight. So SJWs, as far as I see it, are fighting for positive rights for all. Their mantra would be equal and amazing shelter for all, or shitty shelter for all, whatever, it's equality. The maintenance plan would be keep a firm watch on everyone to make sure that everyone's shelter gets better or worse as everyone else's. It is constantly watching. BLM and Antifa are fighting for political power, using whatever means necessary to gain exposure and control. Their mantra, I would say, it would be better shelter for us, but mostly me. Their maintenance program is keep a firm watch to make sure that they have it best. The third I'll call Minutemen. They are ready to fight to keep everyone's negative rights recognized and respected. Their mantra would be shelter is where the heart is, and that's where the home is, and you get the home you deserve based on equal rules. Maintenance plan. Don't infringe on my negative rights. So do you find yourself in any of these 3 camps? Do you discover for the purpose of gaining extra or becoming more? Do you discover for the purpose of privacy, autonomy, freedom, for a fighting chance? Or do you attempt to discover what you can conquer and where you can assert yourself, even violently? So let's move on to the meme and the comment, because I think their attitudes are attached. Both are kind of poopy attitudes. Here's the comments. All right. Okay. That comment was because I thought that women weren't catcalled as much as they bitch about. And here's the meme. And I'm sorry I can't find the post, but it said something. The first response was something to the effect of, that explains a lot. I felt like it was a dig. So the Pew Research Center says that 57% of people have never left the state they were born in, and 37% of those have never left their hometown. For shame, I guess. I'm supposed to think that they're fucking hicks or something. I don't know. Okay, so the main reason cited, number 1, is family ties. So basically, family ties would mean that a person has family that they feel a grand amount of love for and that they feel loved by, which creates connection and protection, which creates ties, and they're calling it family ties. Okay. Number 2 is people stay because it's a good place to raise children. That's my dog. So maybe they have a connection and a feeling of protection for and by the family. They have support from family. They have support from long-time and trusted friends. They have safe and established neighborhoods that they can count on. Things that they can do that are educational, safe, and fun for the whole family. And there's good people around. I don't know, but that's what I would say a community is that's safe for my children to be raised in. Okay, and the major reason people cite for leaving is for financial opportunity. You got to move where the money is if that's your goal. And more people who are college educated move, which makes sense, right? Like you spend time and money earning a degree, and now you probably want to use it, and you definitely have to pay for it. Therefore, you must find a job, and it might not be in your hometown, big or small, wherever you're from. Cities, suburbs, and small towns have more movers than stayers. I can never say the word rural. It sounds so dumb. Areas are more evenly split. So what comes to my mind is how much defense and love can one have to a place where there is no family ties and no historical memory of how it used to be there? There's no warm childhood memories that cement you to the land and the people. But then again, how can you have fond memories of a place that gave you no fond memories? How can you feel family ties if your family was dysfunctional or working away from home or being miserable or not caring that you exist? It seems like in all these videos that I do, I always come back to family being the answer to almost all problems. Maybe it's short-sighted. Maybe it's right, maybe it's wrong. I don't know. It's just what I'm coming to. So some people, it seems like, hold the notion that those who stay close to their hometowns, especially those whose towns are rural or on the small side, are stupid or bad or backwards or the problem with the country. They're the problem. I think we might be, if you hold that view, I think we might be missing something really bad, something really important. If we look at the overwhelming majority of people within an overwhelming number of cities, it seems like their hive mind is concerned about the same issues. These issues, it seems, are the ones that crowded cities create. For example, environment. They create more trash. They create more hot spots. They have less area for wildlife. They complain about safety, police brutality, violence, rape, murder. Government assistance. They need more laws and regulation for pay gap, and they want free education so their children can be educated away from home on trades that they don't know anything about. From institutions whose efficacy is going down. And we're dumber now than we ever were before. We want assistance in the form of welfare. Healthcare. We want healthcare. Suicide rate is up. Infertility is up, especially in urban areas. Diabetes is up. Antidepressant usage is up. Free healthcare for everyone, including non-citizens, including for preventable diseases, tobacco, poor diet, physical inactivity, alcohol. So it seems that all of these demands are by a wimpy population, and they could be reduced with finding a shelter worth sticking to. Oh my God, I'm gonna scratch your ears. So currently we have a higher than ever population of people who have no stake to their shelter. A population whose parents have a less than strong desire for their children to remain near. And why not? If money is the honing device, parents care less if their children are near. It seems more and more that parents, if they care at all, care about a great preschool, extracurricular activities that take the child away from home, and having a tax-funded babysitter, otherwise known as the propaganda factories of K through 12. 15,000 hours? Take my kid, please. Care is caring that the children get into college so they can find a job in a different city, probably, so they can pay off their education and pay for a shelter that they can return home to after they go out into the world and demand change on a global scale and work for someone else and pay for someone else to make their dinner and forage their mushrooms and slaughter their chicken. They shop for things they don't need to bring back to this shelter that they don't really give a fuck about. That's unfair because that might not be true. But that's what most parents want for their children. And then those parents really care that their children have children that can attend a great preschool and have extracurricular activities away from home, and that they can attend to college, so someone else can teach them skills that they can't teach them because it's the latest knowledge that will keep them in the cities or get them to the big city, so they can find a job to pay off the education and to pay for a shelter, and then they can go out into they can return and bring things home too, and they can go out into the world and demand change, and they can not have to forage for their own mushrooms or slaughter their own chicken, and someone else has to make their food. And they go back to their house, which is their shelter, which they would leave in a minute because they really don't care because they're chasing the money, and on and on and on and on it goes, it seems to me. So this, in my estimation, is why the third reason for discovery, the poopy one, the lack of morals, of leaving the shelter, is gaining in popularity, because the issues that could be controlled and would be a non-issue if people actually had a shelter where their loved ones were, meaning family ties and a feeling of belonging and actual applause when they walk in the door, where they're taught life-saving and life-sustaining skills by their parents and their grandparents and their siblings and their neighbors. In other words, a shelter where they have stake in the game. All these would be non-issues, but they're now city issues. They're government issues. There's a torrent of responsibility of self, family, and community that is freely being handed over to the government. Here, please, make me feel safe. Make me feel special. Teach me. Take care of me. Fight for me. These people are lost. Who do you blame? Parents, kind of. I do. Family, I guess. I don't know. And the people out there who still value self-responsibility and protecting land and property and self and family, well, watch out, because these shelterless, family-tied, disrespecting, nomadic, dangerous, itinerant tribal members are ready to slaughter and enslave you, because they are unloved, confused, drifters, lost souls. So the next time you want to mock someone about the sheltered life that they live or respect or have grown up in, think about this video. And the next time you are mocked because you want your family or your friends or your loved ones to lead a sheltered life, remember this video. I'm on your team. Okay? Sheltered life for all. Sheltered home. Think about it a little. I don't know what the answer is, but that's my video today. I hope you're all well. See you soon.